about all sorts of things, clothes and what you should eat and politics, and it really had become larger than life, and it was starting to frighten me, because really still all I wanted to do was kick a ball around on the football field.
You felt that when the European Cup was finally won, finally in United's terms, you weren't fully part of it.
I think I felt after '68 when we won it that everyone was talking. It seemed to me that everyone was saying, "That's it. We've done what we set out to do." I was 22. I wasn't going to reach my peak for another 7 or 8 years. And I listened to everyone talking about how this is it. We've achieved what we set out to achieve. And it seemed like they were talking as if it was all over. I was only starting. It had only started as far as I was concerned. And it seemed a little bit strange to me. I felt they should have been saying this is the first of many, instead of this is the one. And I started to have a lot of doubts about what was going on within the club, which hurt me, because Manchester United had been my whole life.
In the 4 seasons after the European Cup was won with an ageing side, Best missed just 10 league games and scored 70 goals for United. But as a changing team under changing management faltered, so his problems on and off the field increased. Which came first was a moot point.
People have said to me, you could have done more, or you should have done no more, or you might have done more. The other players, I don't think like that.
I think Bobby does.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If that's the way Bobby thinks, that's his. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. The same as Dennis Law's entitled to his opinion. I know what Dennis's opinion of me is. I know what Nobby Stahl's opinion of me is. I know what Pelly Crane's opinion of me is. And I think I know what Bobby's opinion of me is. But having said that, that doesn't mean to say that on the field that I didn't do as much as I could for Bobby and Manchester United as I know he did for me and for Manchester United also.
You served under 4 managers at Manchester United.
That's putting the term loosely.
Well, I think the ball's in your court. I'm not going to try and get it off you.
Yeah, but that was another thing. We had been so used to the one man at Manchester United, a great manager, Sir Matt. And then it was how do you replace him? And they tried. Wilf McGuinness took over. Now here was a young man still who his whole life had been Manchester United, and here he was flung in at the deep end, really, put in charge of one of the greatest teams in the world. And I don't think he really knew what had hit him. Frank O'Farrell came. I think Dennis was quoted once as saying that he came and went and never spoke to him. But that's the way Frank was. Tommy Docherty was... Tommy, I have no time for at all.
It was Docherty, though, who ended Best's 9-month retirement, bringing him back to Old Trafford in September 1973.
When Tommy Docherty met me and we sat down and talked about going back, the sort of gist of the conversation was that he understood that once in a while, I went out and had a late night or got involved with this and that. He said as long as it didn't affect the way I played, that he wouldn't turn a blind eye. But if I missed training, say for instance, if I missed training, I came back in the afternoon and I did twice as much. That was sort of the gentleman's agreement. So I said, yeah, no problem.
But at the start of 1974, in the week of a third-round FA Cup tie with Plymouth, things changed.
Tommy Docherty told me about an hour before kick-off that I wasn't playing. And I said, well, what happened to why? And he said, because you missed training Thursday morning. So after telling me that, that would be one of the things that would be kept quiet, as long as I went back and did the extra training, he was telling me that I wasn't playing because I'd missed one training session after a month of training, sort of morning and afternoon. And I just said to him, well, if I don't play today, I won't play again. And I remember I sat there until all the players had gone. I went and sat up in the stand and looked at the pitch, and I never went back. I left, and that was the last time I've been back since to see a couple of games, but that was the last time I went.
Do you think that being the player you were entitled you to expect rather different treatment from the people who followed Sir Matt Busby in the managerial chair at United?
You could argue until you're blue in the face who was right and who was wrong, and whether Sir Matt should have done this or done that. He did everything that was humanly possible. He tried everything. He talked to me quietly. He screamed at me. He suspended me. He fined me. He put his arm around me. He couldn't have done any more. He really couldn't. I was the one that could have done more. But having said that, I didn't have the experience to do any more. You know, it started going wrong when I was 23, 24. I was still only a kid. I didn't know what was going wrong. I know now, but I'm 38. It's too late. It's one of those unfortunate things. I learned too late.
But has he learned? Does this brush with authority not parallel his life today?
The people inside are making the statement. They're making the statement, so they're coming out in a moment and you'll see them then. All right?
Any comment to make at all?
No, everything's been fair and above board. We're quite...
Sorry, mate. George, how do you feel now?
Well, I can't say anything until they made a statement.
George Best, the commission decided that the player be given a 6-week suspended sentence and fined £250. Well, the player did promise that he would do his utmost to stay out of trouble in the future.
Yeah, I was getting sent off for silly things. And it was so much easier to send me off because I was giving them more opportunities, which was a flaw in my character.
The battle with alcohol is also a recurring nightmare, a road to prison paved with good intentions.
My problem's always been that there's no in between. It's either 100 or nothing. And I fought it and fought it and fought it and tried. I thought I was fighting it, but I was running away from it.
For 5 years, Angela, his wife, offered, in Best's words, love and understanding. But the marriage has now broken up. The years since he stood alone as the master of his art have seen attempted comebacks in many shirts and in many places. In business life, he's been bankrupt, but has survived to open a nightclub only recently. In private, he's known despair and degradation. But time has not dimmed the days of his magic.
When I saw you, you looked like a diamond as you played in the dust on the ground. Just a boy from the country of Ireland, and I knew I could make you shine. Could you move like a downtown dancer, with your hair hung down like a mane, and your feet played tricks like a juggler as you weaved to the sound of your name? Georgie, Georgie, they call you the Belfast boy. Georgie, Georgie, they call you the Belfast joy. They said, Georgie, Georgie, keep your feet on the ground. Georgie, Georgie, when you listen to the sound. Georgie, Georgie, put a light on your name. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Play the game. Play the game. Boy, play the game. Play the game. Play the game. Just play the way the ball bounces and bounce the way the ball plays. But you won't have long in the limelight. No, you won't have many days. So the ship set sail from the dock bay and headed for the big city sound. Mama waved goodbye from the harbor, said you better get used to the sound. Georgie, Georgie,